Yo, what up? Are you house poor? Are you living in a big old house, but your bank account is living in a small lower house? Let's talk about it today. What up, everybody? It's Muoki here. I'm a realtor in Leesburg, Virginia. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. So glad you could join us today. If you've been here before, get your popcorn ready. We're going to get started in just a second. Just a reminder that your phone is your friend. More of your friend if you got iPhone. But if you got Android, that's okay too. My information is on the screen. Go ahead, shoot me a text, give me a call, hit me on email. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Muoki the Realtor. I got your back if you're thinking of moving here to Leesburg or just the surrounding area, or if you want to talk more about just what it takes to buy a home. So we're talking about here today the 5 things to look, the 5 key questions to ask yourself if you're thinking about buying a home to prevent yourself from getting into this situation of being house poor. So what is house poor? Well, with the market going the way it is in 2021, it is just absolutely just bananas. Putting 5 offers, 6 offers, 7, 8, 10 offers before winning a home. I talked to a realtor the other day. She showed her client 80 homes over 2 years and still haven't found anything. So the market is just, it's not for the faint of heart. And so a lot of people find themselves in situations where they can get in the house, but that's all they can do, right? And they can just get the house, but can't do anything after that. And then you end up either having to sell it, get foreclosed on, or a lot of people when COVID hit now are on forbearance. And so they're putting their mortgage payments out in the future. So with that said, let's look at definition. What is a definition of being house poor? So house poor is a term used to describe a person who spends a large portion of his or her total income on home ownership, including mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, and utilities. So this means someone is house poor when their home takes up the majority of their income. This is what it means when it says you have too much house. Having too much house isn't that your house is too big, but the burden of your house is more than your income can sustain, because as it says here, owning a home isn't just your mortgage payment. You've got other expenses as well. You've got taxes, you've got property costs, you've got utilities, you've got Netflix. Come on now, we all know we binging. So you've got all these other expenses, and the house is so overwhelming that it makes you strapped for cash, living paycheck to paycheck with no reserves, and you end up in a situation where you're financially unstable because of your house and its costs and expenses. And so these are the 5 key questions to ask yourself before you get into buying a home. As a matter of fact, 4 questions, 1 rule of thumb to ask yourself before you think about getting into home ownership, because home ownership is a big investment. It's a big deal. Even if, let's say, you're getting into a $100,000 house, if you're putting down a 20% down payment, that's still a whole lot more money than people will have on hand for the majority of a year or just a certain period of time. So it's still a large investment, and the larger investment, the more preparation that's required. So these are the 4 questions, 1 general rule of thumb, and starting with the general rule of thumb is, as you're preparing to buy a home, know what you can afford for a monthly payment. And the general rule is your monthly mortgage or housing payment expense should be less than 30 to 33% of your total income. Here in Northern Virginia, for instance, when people are looking to rent a home, landlords, private landlords, usually, well, most of them anyway, but private landlords in particular, look for a tenant candidates monthly income to be three to four times as much as the rent payment. So if you're looking to rent, a home that's $1,000 a month, you want to make $3,000 a month, so that the payment, so you have 2/3 of that is left over after you pay your mortgage. Another way to look at it is to have your yearly income be 40 times as much as the monthly rent. So if your rent is $3,000 a month, you want to be bringing in to your household. Now this isn't just you, but your household needs to be bringing in at least $120,000. Now this isn't set in stone. Ain't no law about this. This is just a general rule that ensures that your financial stability or that your housing goal or project is a financially wise decision. As long as with all financial decisions, go ahead. You want to check all these things with your financial advisor, financial broker, your whoever. Maybe it's your Uncle Rick. Maybe that's him. So check with Uncle Rick before you getting into this. But this is a general rule that we follow. Now, the 4 key questions you want to ask yourself before buying a home, starting with number 1. Question number 1. Do you think you want to make a move in less than 5 years? Owning a home is a big commitment. It's a 30-year mortgage, 15-year mortgage. You can refinance all you want, but still it's a note that you'll have to carry for a long period of time. So if you're going to be making a move in less than 5 years, the transition from one home to the next can be pretty tough. Just consider the amount of effort that will go in, because if you're going to be moving in less than 5 years, then, and let's say you're looking for a home in 2021, it's going to take at least 6 months from actively looking, 6 months minimum to get an offer accepted. Hear what I'm saying? An offer accepted. So you may put in more than 1, or more than 5, more than 10, and 6 months is the minimum time required now that you can find them. So minimum. Average is about 6 to 8 months. So if 8 months of that time is actually looking for a home, you're not going to be in it for 5 years. You're going to be in it for 4. Well, you got to move to that house. So that's another 3 to 4 months. So is it really that much of a, do you want to make that kind of a commitment in such a short period of time? The second question is, are you unsure of how long you will be making the money you are making right now? So with, like, for example, when COVID hit, a lot of people that own right now that are in mortgage forbearance are people whose financial situation changed drastically from when they were gainfully or duly employed, and different circumstances hit, and their housing expense is now more than they can carry. So if you're not sure that you can sustain the level of income that you're bringing in now, so that your housing expense is 33% or less of your total income, monthly income, then seriously consider what kind of moves you want to make. The third question you want to ask yourself is, does home maintenance, the idea of home maintenance, make you cringe? So as I said before, owning a home isn't like it's kind of a job. You know what I mean? You gotta change your filters. You gotta when the plumbing goes, most likely the dishwasher is gonna go at the same time, and then the washing machine and the heater. So you, in order to prevent all of that, you gotta take care of your home. You gotta check your gutters. You gotta check the roof. When your shingles fall off, when you got a windstorm or whatever, you gotta fix that yourself. So you gotta mow your grass, right? So when you hear all of that and you hear that kind of a commitment, is that something you're just like, it's not for me? If that's you, then just just know that it's more than simply paying a bill. This is a major investment. In order to keep your investment something that is marketable, you just got to put the work in. So just keep that in mind. The fourth question is, do you have major plans to spend money on other big things like travel, weddings, anniversaries, family vacations? If that's you, just know that the amount of money that you're gonna need when you buy a home, you don't just need your nowadays 3 to 5% for your down payment. You can get up to 3.5% down payment on an FHA loan. You can put as little as 5% down on conventional. But these are your minimums. But with the way that the market's going right now, you're gonna have people are putting bigger down payments on properties to show their financial astuteness, and so and that's just for the down payment. You got your closing costs, you got your moving costs, and not just your closing costs. Some people are paying for the seller's closing costs. So just know that if you're gonna you're gonna have to put a lot of money aside to get into the house. The upfront cost for buying a home is one of the things that deters a lot of people, and usually it's not because they don't have it, but they don't know what it takes before they plan, and so they get discouraged by it. So just know that if you have other major expenses lined up, that you want to at least just pause a little bit and just factor in how is your money going to go from one big pot to another big pot. So those are the 4 key questions to ask yourself in the general rule of thumb. And I just want to make a disclaimer here that if you hear these questions, you're just like, oh man, I'm planning to move, or I don't know how much this job is gonna last, or I'm getting married in a little bit, or I'm this and that. I'm not saying that you can't own a home. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a home. What I'm saying is that these questions are geared to get you to slow down and think about what you're getting yourself into, because it's more than a possibility. For example, if you're going to be moving in 5 years, buy the house and then keep it up. Maybe do a few upgrades. Let's say maybe do the kitchen, the finishes in the kitchen, or the hardware, or maybe put some luxury vinyl in the kitchen, and then rent it out when you move, and then a renter will carry the cost of the mortgage in the house, and then you just got to do the maintenance every time you get a renter. You clean the carpets and that kind of thing. So you can turn your rental, your home, your primary residence, just turn it into a rental, become a buy and hold landlord, get a property manager if you don't want to deal with the 2 a.m. phone calls about the plumbing, and then you're in. And if home maintenance is a pain for you, just buy a condo, or find a townhome or a single family unit in a condo association. Pay the condo fee and every month, or however whatever the incremental period is, and then have them do your landscaping for you. Take out your trash, do all your maintenance, right? So there's ways around these some of these constraints that you might be feeling. You just gotta, if you stop and think, it'll just give you more clarity down the road. Go slow in order to go fast. It's better you'll run a lot faster and a lot harder and be more successful when you plan and prepare ahead than it's just a matter of execution. I don't want to ever make anybody feel like real estate is not an option for you, or that you're disqualified from real estate and owning real estate. Even if you get foreclosed on, or you file for bankruptcy, it doesn't mean that just because maybe it doesn't happen right now, doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. Real estate is one of the most stable investments that you can get in this economy in the United States. Everybody's hip to the fact that real estate is one of the keys to having long-term wealth and security for the present and for the future. that's all today. I'm off my soapbox. I'm done preaching to y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. If this is something that's been interesting for you, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to keep hanging with us, go ahead and subscribe below. Just a reminder again, your phone is your friend. So just hit me up however you want to get a hold of me. And I got your back if you're thinking of making a plan to make a move. So it's always real, always fun hanging out with you guys. So until next time, take care.